The Covenant of the Foggy Moon. Chapter 1, The Unquestioned Heart. Gu Wanjun has been fostered in the villa of her mother's sister-in-law since she was a child. Over the years, she has lived a low-key life and has never had too much desire for anyone in the family. She is well-behaved and docile, obedient to her father-in-law and mother-in-law, but always maintains an appropriate distance from her brother-in-law Gu Chengyuan. Gu Chengyuan, the man who grew up with her back then, was cold and lonely, and was the only person she had ever thought about. 3 years ago, when she had just grown into an adult woman, on a stormy night, Gu Chengyuan suddenly proposed to her. Gu Wanjun didn't understand why she was chosen, she just felt that her life was closely connected with him, so she agreed to his proposal. But the days after marriage were far from being as warm as she expected, and Gu Chengyuan still remained cold to her, even more like an alienated stranger. No matter how hard she tried to enter his world, Gu Chengyuan always isolated her with an attitude of alienation and indifference. She was powerless to change, and the helplessness and grievances in her heart drowned her like a flood. Chapter 2, The Domain of Distrust. Gu Chengyuan is cold, intelligent, and rational, he is low-key, and he is even more indifferent to marriage. For Gu Wanjun's love, he never showed excessive closeness, but only fulfilled his husband's responsibilities and did not treat her as a real partner. For him, this marriage may be more of an obligation than a choice. One day, Gu Wanjun overheard Gu Chengyuan and his friend talking in private, and learned that Gu Chengyuan had never let go of a past relationship in his heart, and that relationship was Gu Chengyuan's first love. This made Gu Wanjun's mood fall into a trough. She knew that she could not compare to her in his heart, and even his marriage to her was only the result of a responsible situation. Although she never asked Gu Chengyuan to give her much love, and even hoped that he could live happily, this indifference and distrust made her gradually unbearable. Chapter 3, The Alienation of the Heart. In the 3rd year after marriage, Gu Wanjun already felt deeply tired and hopeless about this marriage. She began to envision what the future would look like for herself in her heart, leave Gu Chengyuan and regain her life. By chance, she met Shen Yuchen, a young and enthusiastic doctor. He was completely different from Gu Chengyuan, and Shen Yuchen's eyes were full of warmth and understanding. Gu Wanjun had never felt such a gaze, and his gentleness made her feel valued. Although she knew that such emotions might be momentary confusion, she couldn't deny that Shen Yuchen's appearance had aroused a glimmer of hope in her heart. However, Gu Wanjun knew that she couldn't be lost like this anymore. She decided to let go of this hopeless marriage and find her own freedom. Chapter 4, Letting Go Absolutely Alone. On a rainy night, Gu Wanjun finally made up her mind and threw all her emotions and grievances in front of Gu Chengyuan. Gu Chengyuan, we have all come to an end in this marriage, and I don't want to continue like this. Her tone was calm, but with a determination that could not be ignored. Gu Chengyuan looked at her, frowning slightly, but there was no anger or surprise in his eyes. He was silent for a moment, and finally spoke, if you decide, then let's go. This sentence pierced Gu Wanjun's heart like a sharp sword. She knew very well that Gu Chengyuan's indifference had exceeded her expectations. At this moment, she finally understood that Gu Chengyuan didn't care about her leaving, or even about her feelings. Her heart was heavier, but she knew it was a choice she had to make. Chapter 5, Rebirth. Gu Wanjun's life started again. She devoted herself to the cause she loved, and with the encouragement of Shen Yuchen, she bravely took the first step. She is no longer the woman who relies on her husband and swallows her anger, but gradually regains her confidence and strength. With the passage of time, Gu Wanjun's career is thriving, she has become a leader in the industry, and Shen Yuchen has always been by her side and has become her solid backing. Although Shen Yuchen's feelings for her were always clear, Gu Wanjun was never able to give him a definite answer. She knew that she still had Gu Chengyuan's image hidden in her heart, even if it was her painful memory. Chapter 6, Gu Chengyuan's Awakening. One day, Gu Wanjun was busy in the office when she suddenly received a call from Gu Chengyuan. On the other end of the phone, Gu Chengyuan's voice was low and with a hint of imperceptible anxiety. Wanjun, I knew I was missing out on a lot of things. I shouldn't make you feel so lonely, I should give you more love and trust. Gu Wanjun listened quietly, but her heart was in chaos. She knew that Gu Chengyuan had finally realized his neglect and indifference to her, however, was it still too late for all this? She took a deep breath and responded lightly, Gu Chengyuan, it's not important anymore. You've missed it once, but that's not your only mistake. In Gu Chengyuan's silence, Gu Wanjun heard the remorse, and the determination in her heart became firm again. She knew that she was no longer the one who depended on him, but that she was going to live for herself and for her future. Chapter 7, A New Beginning. Gu Wanjun finally made the final choice. She decided to join hands with Shen Yuchen to move towards an unknown future. She is no longer confused, no longer waiting, no longer limited by the images and emotions of the past. Her future belongs to her. And Gu Chengyuan finally learned how to cherish it. Although he missed Gu Wanjun, he understood that only when she no longer needed him would he truly appreciate the loss and remorse. Chapter 8, An unforeseen reunion. Gu Wanjun and Shen Yuchen's lives gradually stabilized. She not only made remarkable achievements in her career, but also regained her lost self in the company of Shen Yuchen. The relationship between the two is getting deeper and deeper, and Shen Yuchen's consistent support and tolerance make Gu Wanjun feel the warmth she hasn't seen for a long time. However, Gu Chengyuan's figure always loomed in her heart. Just as Gu Wanjun gradually let go of the past and was ready to devote herself to a new life, an unexpected reunion broke her peace. It was an afternoon party. Gu Wanjun was invited to a grand dinner in the industry, and Gu Chengyuan also happened to appear on the same occasion. When Gu Wanjun entered the banquet hall, she instantly felt Gu Chengyuan's strong gaze. Her mood fluctuated slightly, but she quickly calmed down. She walked up to Shen Yuchen and talked to him with a smile as if everything had passed. But Gu Chengyuan suddenly walked towards her, and his cold eyes couldn't hide a trace of hidden pain. Wanjun. Gu Chengyuan's voice was low and trembling slightly. Gu Wanjun was slightly stunned, and when she met his long-lost eyes, a ripple of emotion inexplicably surged in her heart. Shen Yuchen noticed the strangeness of the atmosphere, stood up and said softly, Gu Chengyuan, long time no see. Gu Chengyuan nodded, and didn't reply, just looked at Gu Wanjun. I have something I want to talk to you about. Gu Wanjun didn't respond immediately, her mood was a little complicated. Shen Yuchen saw this, gently held her hand, her eyes were gentle and firm. You don't need to force yourself, if water, we can go. Gu Wanjun felt Shen Yuchen's warmth, and after a little hesitation, she said to Gu Chengyuan, there are some things that may not be necessary to talk about anymore. Gu Chengyuan's gaze shook slightly, and he seemed to see the determination not to look back from her eyes. He suddenly took a deep breath, as if he had let go of something. I see, Wanjun. He said lightly, then turned to leave. This short reunion did not have too many waves, but made Gu Wanjun's heart clearer. She used to love him, but now, she doesn't need him anymore. She has a future of her own, a world of her own. Chapter 9, The Past is like smoke. The days flow like water, the relationship between Gu Wanjun and Shen Yuchen is becoming more and more stable, they support each other in their careers, and they become each other's support in life. Shen Yuchen's company made Gu Wanjun's mood more and more relaxed, and she no longer had any worries about Gu Chengyuan. However, Gu Chengyuan's figure still appeared in her dreams from time to time. He occasionally appeared on newspapers and television screens, and became a leading figure in the business world. He was still the high, unapproachable being, who had nothing to do with her life. One day, Gu Wanjun was sorting out documents in the office when she suddenly received a call from Gu Chengyuan. She instinctively felt a hint of nervousness, but then calmed down and picked up the phone. Wanjun, I'm abroad now, and I have something to deal with recently. Can you come over when you have time? Gu Chengyuan's voice was still indifferent, but there seemed to be a trace of helplessness in it that could not be ignored. Gu Wanjun was silent for a moment before replying, I don't need to talk to you about anything anymore. I've let go of the past. Gu Chengyuan's silence lasted for a few seconds before he whispered, I know, you put it down. But during this time, I really realized that I never let go of you. Gu Wanjun's heartbeat accelerated slightly, and countless memories of the past flashed through her mind. Those past pains, those countless times of waiting and patience, made her begin to waver in Gu Chengyuan's words. She took a deep breath and responded, Gu Chengyuan, you always understand it's so late, right? Gu Chengyuan's voice was low, yes, I regret it, but perhaps, I don't have a chance to change anymore. Gu Wanjun's heart swelled with complicated emotions, she was not in a hurry to give an answer, but said softly, perhaps, this is already over, Gu Chengyuan. I'm not the girl you once overlooked. There was a brief silence on the other end of the line. Gu Chengyuan finally said, I wish you all the best. Gu Wanjun stopped talking and hung up the phone silently. She knew that this was not just the end, but also the beginning of her new life. No matter how Gu Chengyuan repented, her heart no longer belonged to him, but to Shen Yuchen, who had always been by her side to support her. Chapter 10, New Skies. Gu Wanjun's life has finally entered a stable track. Shen Yuchen is still by her side, whether it is work or life, he is silently guarding her. Gu Wanjun no longer needed to look back on the past, nor did she have any expectations for Gu Chengyuan. She knew she had finally found her own piece of sky. And Gu Chengyuan is still in the business world, but in his heart, there is always a name that has never been put down, Gu Wanjun. Perhaps, in this life, he will not be able to have her anymore. Underscore 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 un. The story of The Covenant of the Foggy Moon is about a journey of love, growth, and letting go. Gu Wanjun went from dependence to independence, from pain to rebirth, and finally found her own life. And Gu Chengyuan, although he finally repented, he was powerless to return to the sky. This is a story about learning to let go, learning to cherish, and a spiritual journey about self-discovery.